Hi, hello, and good evening. It is October 2nd, and we are discussing Big Brother 25 on this evening. The Big Brother zombie twist is dead and gone, pun intended and enjoyed. We saw a new head of household crowned on last night, so we're certainly going to be discussing that, as well as the results from the veto competition that you all have not seen yet, unless you're a feeder like us. Well, not that we saw it, we know the results. And we'll be discussing the veto meeting. Obviously, those of you who don't want to have that information, don't want to be privy to the good stuff, we'll be letting you know before we jump into that. There's certainly a few things to discuss before we get there. So let's get into it, huh? Okay. I am Kyle Petty, and I am joined, as always, by my festy besties, John Dunphy and Gina Morgino. And this is Strat Chat, your favorite reality TV podcast. You can find us on all the socials, including the Blue Sky at Strat Chat Pod. And we thank you for joining us on this beautiful Monwan Monday.
Monwan Monday.
That's right. We're kicking off this sucker right. Thank you to David Packer from Netflix's The Mole for that little soundbite there. Okay, how did we leave off on Thursday? Cameron won the Resurrection Rumble, which gave him the right to choose who was going to play the Do or Die competition. Which obviously the winner of that would now get to re-enter the game, full-fledged member of it. Cameron decided to play and smashed it. Totally won. Get his one ball in the one hand, and we done. Did it in less than 2 minutes. Thank you, Wham Bam. Thank you, man. We're out of here. Jared, you're done. Okay. Zombie remains part of the dead. And that is how that one ended. So after that, Cameron wins HOH by way of this puzzle thing. So this puzzle competition, really, because there really wasn't much that happened before that, right? Let me just check my notes and just make sure.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we opened like on the puzzle, no?
Yeah, I feel like we did open up on the puzzle. I think the one funny thing that I did make note of was Therese saying like, okay, Izzy's gone, Jared's gone. There's nobody else in this house that I love. I'm just in here with a bunch of strangers and vultures and serpents. And she's like, I don't care who goes. I certainly thought that was fun. That's what we should have named the stream tonight. We will retroactively change it, a la American Horror Story, right? How they went back and called season 1 Murder House. You're welcome for that. You're welcome for that fun reference. It is spooky ooky season. Oh. It's October. So that was fun. So it started with this competition where you had to put together this puzzle in order to send your aliens back to the BB comic verse. You had to build this puzzle that was supposed to be a rocket, to which Felicia said her aliens are not getting home anytime soon. Did you like this competition? Was it fun for you?
So, like, I do enjoy the competition itself. What I don't enjoy, and we get this with every competition, but it's particularly annoying with a puzzle. I don't need every single person playing the game to explain to me their strategy to build a puzzle. I understand the pieces all need to fit together and make a picture. That's what a puzzle is. Right. I don't need to watch all of you tell me that 17 times. I don't need that.
I know what a puzzle is, especially one that's 14 pieces. Like,
Oh
you can
God.
only have so
Right.
many strategies. I
Even
don't
at one
need to
point,
hear it any 3 times.
I think it was Mimi at one point was like, yeah, like there are certain pieces that fit together, but then I'm looking at it and I realize they need to make a picture. So I need to really focus. I'm like, girl, I get it. It's a puzzle. You're all doing a puzzle. That's what a puzzle is. Why are we still here for 25 minutes?
Yeah, yeah, yikes. Oof. I wonder how long this actually took them.
Right.
'Cause
I
we've
did
seen
think,
puzzles like this on a double, so it can't take that
yeah.
long.
Right.
I did think it was funny, America being like, puzzles are my thing. I kill puzzles. Like the
Crushed
first
it night
competition in
1.
the house. Yeah, I crushed it night one. And it was like a 4-piece puzzle compared to this tower they had to make. And it's like, not really the same. And clearly not the same because she did not do very well.
Right,
So,
because you took a big old L.
yeah. Honestly, the most annoying part of this competition for me though was Blue and having to hear the constant, "Oh, my Pooh Bear! I miss my Pooh Bear! I need to avenge my Pooh Bear!" It's like over and over again.
Ugh. I am so tired of Blue. I don't even know what to do. You're welcome. You're welcome for the rhyme. Not planned, but enjoyed. I will say though that America hearkening back to night 1 and all this stuff. Like, are you a little disappointed that now it has not played out that America Red and Blue were not part of some larger production twist?
We all thought it
Right, we
preseason.
really
We
did.
all thought it.
America Red and Blue. What is this going to be? What's this
The
going to
thing
be?
is, though, like
Absolutely nothing.
Blue was so clearly an alternate that, like, obviously it was nothing, but we wanted so badly for
We
it to be
did.
something.
Oh, we pushed so hard. We were really convinced. We were really convinced. So I thought that was fun to mention. Let me ask you a question. So I was seeing some things on the Twitter that all right. Sorry, started this wrong. So my understanding of the Jared Blue Cerise situation is that Jared only told Blue that his mother was in the house, and she was assuming that it was Felicia. It has certainly now come out in other channels that like Blue actually knows that it's Cerie. I think this came out in some of the Jared exit interviews, and Jared saying, I didn't want Cerie to know, because I didn't want her to be paranoid." So it's like, does she actually know?
I don't know, because there was that one episode where they addressed it in her DRs, and she was only giving reasons like, I have a pretty solid idea it's Cerie, and here's why. But like everybody was saying, like, because we had only heard her say that like she thought it was Felicia, and then we were even seeing her like cozying up to Felicia, like during like on feeds or
Right,
whatever. Like it
right.
looked like she was trying to schmooze up to his mom to try to like get brownie points or whatever. And people were even speculating like, is this DR kind of doctored? Because did she give reasons why it could be Felicia and Cerie and they only used the Cerie footage because that's what it actually
Right.
is? But like,
Right.
I personally never saw any conversations between her and anybody else to allude to the fact that she knew it was Cerie.
Right. Like to my knowledge, it had seemed like Jared said somebody in this house could be my mom, and he was the one that tried to like point it at Felicia, as if that was somehow better than like his mom being someone else. Like either way, your mom is still in there. Like that's what you're telling her.
Right.
But then yeah, I remember seeing the footage of Blue being like, "Here's why I think it's Cerie." I think there could have been. I think you're right, Gina. There absolutely could have been footage out there being like, "This is why I think it's Felicia. This is
Mhm.
why I think it's Cerie," and they only showed us the Cerie. But I don't know if at
Mm.
some point it was confirmed by Jared, because I think in his exit interview, right, like Julie said, like, "Oh, like, are you nervous about telling Blue that Cerie is your mom?" Like it seemed like now it's confirmed that like she does know that it's Cerie, but
Right,
I
but
don't
I
think we
got
saw that.
nothing that I saw, even like feed related, clip related, or
Right.
episode related. I saw none of that. So
Which,
okay,
like,
so it wasn't just me.
to be fair, there is, I'm sure, a lot that we've missed of Jared and Blue's interactions because
We
they're
hate
not
them.
all well, that, but also they're not all family friendly enough to be shown on live feeds. So I'm sure there are some conversations here and there between
Mm,
the two of them that just
mm.
haven't had any airtime at all. But
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Let's see. What else came out while we were watching this competition, right? Because they definitely did intersperse the comp with some DRs and things like that and some other footage. Um,
Oh yeah.
yeah, so we did see the birth of the fugitives. right?
Mhm.
That being Cam, Jag, and Matt. I'm not exactly sure how Matt fits into this. I feel like if Matt, um, oh, so Liz says so. It's Blue does for sure know that it's Cerie. That's interesting. That's interesting. I'd love some more context around that. If you got any clips, send it to me on the Blue Sky. You're welcome to your invite code, girl.
Oh my God.
Blue Sky. So anyway, so obviously they named themselves the Fugitives, because Cam was booted from the house and then had his game resurrected. Jag was basically evicted from the house, but was saved by Matt's power of invincibility. That doesn't actually make Matt a fugitive. So that would make me feel a little unsafe, when the numbers start to dwindle. If there's anyone from the fugitives that would go, you're not really a diehard fugitive unless you've proven yourself somewhere along the way. Any thoughts on that? No one cares.
No, I care. I do. No, I think that's an interesting point.
Okay.
That is like a distinction that Matt has from the other two members of the Fugitives.
Mm-hmm.
But I still feel like it's beneficial for Matt. Like I do think you're right, because like if it gets down to the wire and Jag and Cameron are really serious about this Fugitives alliance and start to say like, all right, it's getting close to the time we have to cut Matt. I still feel like at this point it's smart for Matt to be part of it, because like that gives him a layer of protection there. I still feel like Matt is closer to Cerie than anybody realizes. Like Matt has sort
I
of
was gonna say,
surrounded
does
himself.
anybody really know about that? Like, is there
Right,
a
like,
reason for
well, I
any of them
think
to
so.
believe the connection
right?
there?
Like, I also think Matt is still good with Corey and America, even though they've been reaching out to work with other people. I don't see any world right now where like Felicia or Mimi are like looking at Matt as a big target for them. Like I feel like even if Matt's not the going to be the if he's not the strongest person in the Fugitives Alliance, like doesn't have as much support because Jag has been he's been technically evicted and Cameron's been evicted, like I still feel like Matt's in a really good spot with that, but I don't know.
Yeah, I think Matt's really set up very, very well.
He's
In
really
this
well
house.
insulated.
Yeah, I think it's great. Yeah, and no, I don't think it's a concern for now in terms of Jack and Cam and there being an issue there. I mean, like, because for sure Cam is a bigger target all the time. So he's definitely good for a while, but it's certainly just it would be good to not be nearsighted. Is it nearsighted? I always get these
I'm not sure.
confused because sometimes nearsighted doesn't. I don't know. One of them don't mean the same thing. Like nearsighted means maybe you can see things that are near, but you can't see if they're far away. And like farsighted could be like the opposite. Like I never really know how that one goes. Right? Isn't there like an opposites?
I don't know.
No, I'm gonna pretend I have the answer to that
Thank
question.
God. Thank God. Like I'm glad that you guys
Does it look
can't
like an
definitively tell me
optometrist
either.
to you?
I don't know. I honestly have just always had like impeccable vision, so none of these things mean anything
Right,
to me.
exactly. I have 20/20 vision. Like the rest of my family all wears glasses.
Listen, your girl's got contacts in, and I still don't know. All right, big breath.
Contacts. Honestly, as a quick aside, like, what is that like putting that in? I'd be so scared. I would have to wear glasses. Like, putting it in is one thing, right? Because I feel like once it makes contact, you just do that and then it's gone. But removing it, like, how do you stick your finger in your eye and like, what do you fish around for it? Oh my god!
Yeah, it's
It's right there.
I heard it moves though. I heard it's not.
What if it
right
moves?
there? I heard it moves around and slides. Is that true?
I mean, like a little, but it still stays for the most part right there, unless you're like
It's
rubbing
still
your
like
eye.
in a sense, just you're not
Listen.
actually touching your eye and fishing for it.
Uh-uh.
Do you feel the movement as you go about your day? Like you're sitting on the subway and there's a gust of wind. Does it like blow? Like
I mean, like if it's in the wrong place, you can kind of feel it a little.
the wrong place. See,
That
you
sounds
made me believe
terrible.
that it was large enough that it would just always be in the center. But now you're saying
No,
it could be
it is,
in the
but sometimes,
wrong
like if you
place.
like rub your eye because you forget you're wearing contact, we don't got to talk about this right now.
Of course
Oh
we
my
do.
gosh. Of course we do, because we're here, and this is actually more interesting than what's going on the show we're watching.
Yo, I'm so with you though, Kyle. Like anything
Man.
trying to touch your eye. Like, I'm bad with a lot of things, like swallowing really big pills is like a thing for me.
Can't do
Putting
that either.
contacts in I would have a hard time. Like, I'm definitely a baby when it comes to some of this stuff.
Yes.
So funny because I do get like really squeamish with eye stuff, but for whatever reason, contact is different.
Wow, you are a queen in your own right, okay? A warrior queen. Get out of here, Xena. I don't want to hear nothing about it. We got Gina, okay? Warrior princess. Do you remember even after my surgery, John? Like I had that pill crusher. Like I couldn't do full pills for nothing. And
Yeah.
sometimes even the half C was a little bit too chunky. Like I would even cut that sucker down. I had powder all over the place. It was just a hot mess.
Right. Like I can usually swallow like little like ibuprofen pills or something, but like
Well, that's fine.
those giant like Mucinex pills.
Oh no!
Oh my God.
I'd rather just have
How
the
did we
allergy.
get here?
We got here
How are
by
we here?
I
Started
actually
talking about
think-
eyes, and then we started talking about like things that are difficult for us because we're children, and it's like putting contacts in, swallowing large pills.
Still don't
like-
know why we talked about eyes. I don't know
I
how
have
we got
no idea
anywhere.
how we got there.
And does it matter? Does it matter?
Oh gosh.
It honestly doesn't. So stop trying to like put us back on topic.
Yeah, stop trying to bring us down, Gina.
Us.
We're here for a reason.
Right, and this is
Yeah,
part of it.
and the reason is
getting to know
that-
each other, loving each other.
yeah, and this also. Yeah, so stop bringing us down, Gina.
She deserved it. She deserved it so hard. But anyway, so let's see. So Bowie Jane, back to basics here. So Bowie Jane had made a comment that she doesn't want to work with anyone that's burned her, and she doesn't want to work with anyone that she doesn't feel like she can trust. So Suri, Felicia, and Mimi are out. She is not interested in working with them. But do we know who she does trust, like other than Cam? Like
I literally know nothing about Bowie
right, like
Jane.
who's on her list? If
This
you're not
episode
looking
was
at
so
them,
nice. This episode was so nice because we got significantly more Mimi, and we got like a little bit more insight of like what she's doing, who she's talking to, what she's thinking. We still got nothing for Bowie Jane. Not a single clue.
I'm wondering, like, so I'm thinking back to the recent past, right? Like the argument between Corey and Jared. You know, Jag was in that room, right? Bowie was brought in. Could Bowie feel like she can trust Cam, but can she also maybe feel like she trusts Corey and maybe Jag? You know, like, and not that Corey or Jag or America have Bowie anywhere near the top of their list, but does Bowie maybe feel like she can trust these people? Like I feel like them pulling Bowie in maybe would make her feel like she can trust them, but I don't know if they actually, if they actually trust her. I don't know.
Trust is an interesting thing in this game, right? Because trust doesn't always necessarily mean that you're not going to work with me. It could also just mean that you're not going to work against me. So, like, Bowie Jane could very well be playing just one of those games where she's just not on anyone's radar. So when people are looking at other targets, it's just like, well, no, I'm not actually down with you that hard, but like, I'm also not going to make a move against you because that's kind of a waste. Do you see, like, could that be her strategy? Just to lay low, not be a part of major conversations, because she's not a part of anything. And she's another one.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying she's another one like Mimi who, like, when she's in the room and she doesn't remove herself, it's not like anyone's looking to remove her. So there's still like a lot of trust with somebody like Bowie. And while I've been slamming her game a bit and saying that I feel like that's not really like good gameplay, like she's not in the conversation. Like, if people always allow you to be around the conversation, does that not count for something?
I mean, what I was going to say, there's also the piece that like she actively multiple times has thrown competitions, like particularly HOH competitions, but like
Mimi?
No, Bowie
Jane.
Oh, okay.
Has like actively said like, I'm throwing this competition. I don't want to win this, because she doesn't want to show her cards and she doesn't want to kind of like make a move against anyone. And I think that does kind of lend itself to your point that like, if I'm not particularly aligning myself with any specific person. I'm also not against anyone, so no one has any reason to believe that I'm gonna like make a move to spite
Right.
them if
Right.
they don't know who I'm actually with.
Mhm.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
I'm not against anyone, so you have no reason to be actively against me, even if I'm not your showmance. Who
Yeah.
knows how that plays out down the road? Because your showmances are always a target. So when Corey and America do get split off, whoever goes off, that could be
Which
Bowie Jane's new person. If Cam's gone by then, you could just
I
slip
just
in.
Yeah, I just feel like Bowie though, like, and I don't feel this way about Mimi, and I think it's because while we haven't seen enough of Mimi, like she's definitely been a part of these alliances and has been somebody that's shared her opinion and talks to a lot of people. But I feel like Bowie's game just makes me feel like she's playing for second place. Like, I don't see if you're throwing all these competitions and you're like on the outskirts of some alliances, but not actually like a main contributing member of any of them. Like, sure, it's smart to get you far in the game, and maybe you could be sitting in one of the final two chairs, but like, what argument do you have to make
no,
for
I don't
yourself
think
at
he's
the end?
doing
Like, I feel like Bowie's playing for second place. That's what it feels like.
I don't know if she's like actively doing that, but she's definitely not doing enough to win the game because she has, while not winning competitions to try to like keep your cards close, you're also not really gaining any power or doing anything that gives you any agency in the game to say, "Hi, this was my move. This was what I did. This was how I manipulated the game pieces." You don't really have anything to work with because if you're not actively winning a competitive game, you have to at least be able to back up a social game and say, "Hi, here's the way that I manipulated things to work in my favor with the information that I had in the conversations that I was in." Being a passive member to all the conversations and throwing competitions doesn't really give you
Right.
much of a leg to stand on.
Right. Because like Mimi, I feel like could have more of an argument saying, I was a part of this alliance, and as a group, we made this move. I was a part of this alliance, and as a group, we made that move. Whereas Bowie, by her own admission in this episode, has been in alliances with Sari, Felicia, and Mimi, and she doesn't want to work with them anymore because they burned her. So like she can't take credit for any of those alliances' past moves. Then, you know what I mean? Like it's like you feel like you weren't really a part of it. You feel like you were burned by them. So you've been throwing competitions. You haven't really been like giving your input for any of the moves that your past alliances have made. You don't even want to work with them anymore. So like, what are you actually doing in there? Like,
Hmm.
you know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
I don't see like what Bowie's argument is. Like, and sure, good for her. She's still in there. She's made it far into the game. And obviously we still have a long way to go. So she could pull out other moves. Who knows? But like
Hmm.
at this stage in the game, I just don't see what Bowie's argument could possibly be against anybody in the final two chairs.
That's so interesting. It's also interesting because I feel like John is getting to a point where like he can already predict things that I'm going to ask and things I'm going to challenge, and before I even get to, you're already addressing. so, so it's like, oh damn. All I can do is go, but like, yeah,
Kyle, I would just like to say really quickly, I'm so sorry. I just noticed the name change and I have no idea when it happened. But as you were talking, I was like, his name looks longer than normal. And I
That's
saw when it
right.
happened.
That's right. It has to happen once a season. I have to just change my name and support my favorite man. So that is Matt. Yeah, I'm sorry. I just love him. I just adore him. I like the way he's playing the game. I think he's very attractive. I see no negatives at the moment. So yeah, Kyle Petty Klotz. Um, but I think it's interesting to kind of like look at Bowie's Jane. Bowie Jane's game in that way, because it looks like she's laying down, but this is still just the first bit of the game. And like, we always say that things really get interesting and people really start earning their clout and their flowers and their points when they get post jury. So to the other point you said there, like, yes, it is still oddly early, even though I feel like we've been at this for a little while. This is now in the middle of week 9. It feels so strange to say that's early, but in this game, because it's so elongated, being the longest, Big Brother US season that we've had at 100 days. Okay. I think it's a different conversation. I think it'll
Yeah.
be interesting to watch what Bowie Jane does going forward to see now if there are certain relationships and certain trusts that she's earned along the way that we haven't gotten to see really put to the test and tried out.
I mean, for all we know, Bowie has been thinking, I want to get to jury and then I'll start making my moves. And this happens to be the season that takes forever to get to jury. You know, like, so
Also
like
a fair point.
in a normal season, maybe we would have more to talk about with Bowie if the jury started 3 weeks ago, you know,
Totally
like
possible. Right. Yeah, so I still think she's one to watch. I think she's one to watch. I just again, I wish we were seeing a little bit more. Because
Her
even though
insight, at
Gina, you
least,
mentioned, yeah, you said that we saw a little bit more of Mimi. Like, did we though?
yeah, I feel like the majority, like what we got from her, and I loved it.
I mean,
and
it
I
was a
love
lot of
Mimi,
filler
but I
content.
feel like, I feel like a lot of it was Mimi getting rid of the funk in the house with the spray cans, you know,
Right.
and
So
like,
listen, girl. I love the disinfecting. Of course, you know, I'm here for that. I love all that. You know, I'm really down with my Clorox wipes, you know, but like if I walked up to some handle that was still dripping wet with
You
whatever,
gotta wipe it down.
wipe it off. Like, what is that? You're gonna
You're not cleaning nothing by just spraying stuff on it. You gotta wipe it down.
2 cans down. Well, because half of it is dripping off the DR doorknob. Like, what is that? Like, like, I don't know.
Also,
like
was this old footage too? Because there was a couple of moments that I was like, is this like really old footage that they're just cramming into this episode? Because like between the Mimi funk stuff and then all of the whole segment of Corey talking to Suri about Survivor, asking her all those questions,
That
and she was
actually
like,
did
"Oh,
happen
thank
this week.
God."
At least
That's
that,
okay.
At least the DR portion of her being like, and now I'm in here and you can't talk to me. That definitely happened this week because I saw people like talking about like the DR calling her and her being like, "Fucking thank God." But I'm sure a lot of those clips were old as well.
I know that multiple times we've gotten recently like very old footage that happened like week 1, week 2, and they're putting it into episodes now. And I'm like, some of this stuff from Corey talking to Suri about Survivor feels like in the still like getting to know you stages. Like, let me ask Suri about Survivor. Like, and I'm like, okay, we're like more than 50 days into this game. Can you please show us what's happening right now? Not what was happening in week 2.
Right.
Like, but yeah.
Sadly, there's really not much else for this episode. So Cameron wins HOH, right? We did kind of touch on that.
Matt was so close though. Matt was so close.
So close. Let's dive into that for a second. Let's just say Matt did win this HOH. Do we have any idea who he would have put up? I don't think this is a good time for Matt to win HOH, honestly.
Well, I wonder if the Fugitives happens if Matt wins. I wonder if, you know, Cameron becomes the next target. And I tweeted about it last night. Like, I wonder if, you know, we saw Cameron and Jared go out in the double, and then Jared, you know, went out once Cameron won the competition to get himself back in. Could we have just seen Jared and Cameron go out back to back again if Matt had won? Like that?
I feel like for most people, if they won, that is what we would have seen.
Yeah. So that definitely, I think, altered the course of the game.
Sure it did. Sure. Okay, that's super fair. I don't want to be a spoiler. Okay, so there's that. Cameron won. Oh, so there was an interesting thing, even in the HOH room, at least interesting to me, where Cameron was saying, I don't really understand why Corey feels so comfortable with me. He's like, anytime that I win HOH, nobody should feel comfortable because everyone's burned me. That's interesting, certainly fair. And not really the point I wanted to make. Mine was really on like how Cameron found Corey in the HOH room. And that was with Corey just laying on the bed. Like, what is that?
Yeah.
Like,
and wearing Cameron's sunglasses.
I would be so freaking mad. Like, if I would be like, what was her name from BB20? Is it Sam?
The robot one? Yeah,
she was
a robot.
Yes. Do you remember when she finally won HOH and she was like, listen, y'all, I got some rules. Y'all's not going to be in my room without me. Y'all not going to be doing this. I was like, honestly, that would be me.
Yeah.
I would have a laminated list of rules. Like, we are not going to be doing none of this. You understand? Like, if I come out of my shower and I see you laying in my bed, I'd be raising holy hell. You definitely would be on the block just for that.
Yeah, it's like,
get the
Corey,
hell out of my fucking bed.
Yeah, truly, it's like, Corey, I get that you won an HOH and didn't get the room. That doesn't mean you get it now.
No, it most
goodbye.
certainly doesn't. Because you did get your basket.
I had a hard day.
Right. I'd be really freaking mad. So I just wanted to say that there. Yeah, so Cam won. I don't really. Is there anything else with this episode?
I do have one thing to bring up that, like, I'm sure we'll talk about it a little bit more once we get to the spoiler section. But Cameron, a lot of times during this episode and a lot of his DRs, was talking about the importance of this HOH in particular, because this HOH is going to get out the last pre-juror. And that it's so important for him to be thinking through, like, who do I not want to make it to jury? And hearing him talk about that so much in the DR, it was so surprising to me that Felicia is his main target, because when you think about this game in general, the biggest currency that you have in this game is your vote. That is like the most valuable thing that you have to offer to somebody. And especially in a season like this, where your jury is now 2 people fewer than a normal season, the value of a vote is so much greater than it is on a normal season. So to allow a showmance to make it to jury when the jury itself is so much smaller than normal is a wild choice to me, because, you know, on the one hand, there is a situation where maybe America or Corey is sitting in the final 2 chairs and the other one is in jury, and that is a guaranteed vote for their showmance and the ability to kind of rally the rest of the jury around that person. But also, if you allow America and Corey to make it into jury together and they both don't like you, all you need is 4 votes to win the game this season, and that is 2 guaranteed votes against you, and all they need to do is pull in 2 more people and, like, with between the 2 of them, try to sway other people in the jury. I don't know why you would allow such a clear duo to make it to jury in a smaller season.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. I would totally be breaking up the showmance, because, like you said, if they're both in jury together, they vote together, and if they don't like you, all they got to do is pull 2 more people in, and they decide the winner. But also, if one of them makes it to the end, there's no way that the other end of that showmance is not voting for their showmance if you happen to be sitting next to them in final 2. Like, I feel like it makes, and I think the clear choice for Cameron would be to take out Corey, because as much as we've talked about, America sometimes says that Cameron makes her feel uncomfortable and stuff, like, she's definitely used the relationship she's built with Cameron to her advantage at times. Like, Cameron obviously feels good with America. Like, I would be taking out Corey right away, because not only is he close to America, who Cameron feels close to, but we've seen Corey has the ability to rally the votes against somebody, to, you know, make moves, persuade people to vote a certain way and stuff like that. Like, I don't see how Felicia is, like, the main target that you feel like you have to get out right now before jury. Like, it doesn't really make sense to me.
I think that's all very fair. Yeah, I actually agree.
Wow, you have no contrary opinions.
I mean, my initial contrary opinion was that I think that, all right, I mean, I do have a slight contrary opinion, but it's not strong enough. It's not. I still think your argument is stronger. But, like, there is a world in which I still do believe that Corey would vote very objectively. I think that he has such a respect for what the game is, that if he honestly believes that you played better, that he wouldn't just fall into a, well, me and America just don't think it. America doesn't think so, and I agree, so we're just not going to vote for you. I don't know that Corey would really fall into that as easily as a Felicia. Now, the issue here, though, is that if you don't break them up and you don't send them, if you're not going to break them up now, who's going to send them home later? That scenario only works if they both don't make it to final two. I'm not so sure that you're definitely going to get Corey out of here. I think America is not going to be in a final two chair. Don't clock this like, like weeks from now. But like, I just don't think she will be. And I think it's more likely that Corey would be, which means that America is definitely a guaranteed vote. When other people are going to win next week, who do you think else would put up Corey and America? No one. So it's almost like that's what you
Right.
should do now. Where
Right.
there is
I
some
don't know
potential
about
for some people
no
putting up
one.
Felicia up later, where like Corey and America might be a little bit harder. Like,
I mean, again, people. A lot of people have had Corey and America's names in their mouths. The issue is, I think, I mean, at least I hope that this is still the opinion, is that Cameron is kind of like the number one priority of we have to get rid of him sooner rather than later.
certainly.
But, if he, say, wins POV and takes himself down, I absolutely see people gunning for particularly Corey, but America as well.
But then who do they go up against? Like that's a very interesting situation. So let's just say you put up Corey in America, or you put up like Cameron in America. Cameron wins, he comes down, and now Corey goes up. I don't know. There's a lot of different scenarios here where that doesn't pan out right. What if Cameron was even? I don't know. I have so many scenarios running through my head. I can't even keep them all straight. Because there's just a number of different ways for that to go.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that Cameron, he wins competitions. He has survived like against all odds, but I feel like some of his strategic decisions are not the best. Like, I think putting up the showmans would have been the best move for him this week.
Right.
I feel like putting up Felicia and Meme is kind of a waste.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like, because you're right, nobody else I feel like is going to put up Corey in America, because Corey, maybe Cirie if she wins an HOH, but like right now, Corey and America are still working with Matt and Jag. You know what I mean? Like Matt and Jag don't want to put up Corey in America. That was kind of the whole reason they started working with Cameron, was so that he could do their dirty work. And then at the same time, Corey and America are doing this side thing with Felicia and Meme. So they probably don't want to put up Corey in America. Like Cameron was the person, especially as we're still in this 1 week that we have left of pre-jury. Cameron was the person that was supposed to put them up. And instead he wasted this week on Felicia and Meme.
This really is the most crucial HOH. You are deciding who is in the jury.
Right. It is also interesting because there was one other thing from this episode that might be worth conversing about now that we're kind of on this subject, is that America had this conversation outside and claimed that she didn't know that Cam was sitting there, right? She didn't know Zombie Cam was there. And
oh yeah.
Yes. And she was having this conversation where Blue asked America about the conversation that she had with Meme, and was basically saying that she was saying that that Meme was saying that Corey and America would be safe, and they wanted to bring in Felicia, effectively making this now final four. And she goes, "Oh, I couldn't believe that I was saying these things in front of Cam." Now, on the rewatch of this episode, there was an interesting moment in America divulging this information to them, because Cam was sitting closest to her on that other couch, and I don't remember who was on the other side, but when she was having this conversation, she was speaking to them, and then she made eyes to look at Cam, because the way her head turned, it definitely turned to the person who was closest to her, thus obviously now acknowledging that person, meaning that she did have some awareness that Cam was there. And with that, and the fact that everything that we were talking about even in our group chat during this week, where we see America making these comments about how Cam makes her uncomfortable, yet she actively flirts with him all the time, inviting him into the shower. There's probably something about this relationship that we're really not seeing, and she's trying to make it like it's not something to be clocked here, but like there might be something a little bit more to this.
It's definitely a very nuanced situation.
Right, but there's a reason why Cam feels so safe with her. Even though he made that comment about like, oh, oh, I'm sitting there as a zombie and I'm learning about all this new stuff. Even with that new stuff, you never told us once that you even had a thought of putting her up. That whole relationship is really like
I mean,
very
to be
sus to
fair,
me.
like this conversation that we're talking about with like him outside and her like talking game in front of him or whatever, like aside, there definitely is like, I'm sure there is a piece that he feels so comfortable with her and he doesn't feel threatened by her because she is not openly being or like calling him out to him. Cause like it's so hard to explain because there is so much nuance here, but like
Right.
this is a game for a lot of money. And even like game or not, like if a man is making you feel incredibly uncomfortable, you're not immediately going to jump out and be like, dude, shut up, you're making me uncomfortable. There is a piece of like, you have to kind of giggle it off and like, oh, ha ha ha,
I
so
hear
fun,
that.
like we're
I hear
joking.
that.
So there is a lot of nuance to it where like, yeah, she might be like playing off of him and feeding into it a little bit, but that doesn't negate her saying like, oh, he makes me uncomfortable. I don't like him. I don't like having
It
him. Like there's
doesn't
a lot of
negate it,
layers to
but
it.
there are, but I know how much when you're saying that this person makes you uncomfortable and you want to still lean into this maybe because we can accept this is for a lot of money. Do you invite them in the shower? Like
No,
there's just a line that she's constantly crossing that's making me feel like in a weird way you're playing both sides and like I don't know.
I get it. There is
Here's
also the
listening.
piece
She
that like,
offered him candy from her crotch. What?
no,
Like things like
I do
that.
hear
This
you.
is
I
not what
do.
you do if you're saying that, like, oh, this person makes me so uncomfortable. Here, grab this Tootsie Roll from over here. Like, what?
I do hear you. There is also
I
just the
don't
piece that
know.
like psychologically this game is like so taxed, like they're cut off from literally everybody and everything that they know. Like they're only confined to this house. I don't want to say like this is not the word that I want to use. Like Stockholm syndrome is not like what I want to say, but like there is a piece of like if this is kind of all you have to like yeah, of course there are going to be moments where like you do feel comfortable, you do feel whatever, but like I do think there are a lot of layers to it. I'm not saying that she's totally correct in the way that she's acting towards him, but there's so much to dive into with that like it's hard to kind of like make it black or white, you know what I mean?
Right now, I don't think it is black or white, but I think that's what's challenging about watching this is that's why I
Yeah.
can't stand on any side of this. But I do think it could play into some of these reasons why Cam doesn't believe that maybe he should be targeting them. Is he also seeing a version of this that ends with maybe him going to final three with the two of them, and then him knowing that he's stronger physically, that will now
Right.
allow him to kind of pave his way into the end?
Yeah.
There could be a number of reasons why he's not looking at Corey in America because, like, she, in a weird way, is making him feel comfortable.
Yeah, I agree. And I said this to you guys, like, America is allowed to do whatever she feels like she needs to do to win this game, to get further in the game. I have no problem with her doing whatever she feels like she needs to do, strategically. For me personally, if I was alone in a bathroom with somebody and that person was like the one person in the house that made me uncomfortable, I would not even think about jokingly saying, "So you coming in when I'm in the shower?" and there's no one else around.
Right.
I mean, to be fair though, if memory serves, in her intro package, she did say that like her strategy was to flirt with guys to the end. Like that
But
was like a piece of what she
there's
was like,
I
I'm
thought
gonna do
that's what
this.
she said. I thought that's what Blue said.
And yeah, and I got to tell you
I think
though,
I've heard
flirting.
maybe I made that up. I might be wrong.
And that's
Maybe they both said it.
fine. And that's fine. But there's a difference, I think, between flirting and being like, I'm naked in the shower. You want to come in? Flirting and inviting someone into the shower are two completely different things. Come on.
Well, I would say that is a flirt in my world because I'm a hoe, but I would not be flirting like that and that hard with somebody who makes me uncomfortable. Like,
And that, yeah, I'm speaking personally. Like,
right,
like I said,
right.
America can do whatever she wants. She's a grown woman
Live
playing
your
a game
life.
for a lot of money.
Yes.
If I'm going to the person that I'm actually in a showmance with and being like, oh my God, I feel so uncomfortable around this person. And then in the same breath, when nobody else is around, I'm being like, hey, get in the shower with me. Like, I don't know.
Right.
But
It just feels too extreme on both ends for me.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I also feel like America is definitely smart enough and knows this game well enough that even in her DRs, if she knew that Cameron was sitting in the backyard overhearing some of this stuff, I feel like she's also smart enough to be in the DR and be like, "Oh, I was saying all this stuff and didn't even realize Cameron was sitting right there." For when people watch this back and being like, "Oh, was America playing me that whole time?" And then she can, she can point to, look at that, look at my DR. I said I didn't realize he was even watching. Like
right. Yeah, I don't know. She's tricky. She's a tricky one. I'm watching you, America. I'm watching. But this ended with Felicia and Meme on the block. That's what Cameron decided. Cameron has spoken. And I guess that's really that on that. We kind of beat this one into the ground. But Liz is chiming in here. So basically saying about Cam. So while I do think he comes off creepy in the way he flirts with her, I think the fact that he flirts is understandable. Yeah, he is being led on a little bit. Not so sure that he's receiving the message that he's being cringy. We see it, but he's just like, oh well, I'm being creepy Cam, and she's digging it. I don't know. It's a weird thing. But all right. So Felicia. No, that was right. Felicia and Meme
That's the
on the
one.
block. There it is. Thank you. On the block. Any more on that?
No, I don't think so.
So you're ready to spoil? You want to talk about veto stuff?
Let's get into it.
All right. So the people who do not want to know about vetoes, you're out of here. Find us on the socials at StratJedPod as well as Blue Sky. Thank you very much. And subscribe. We'll be back here with Big Brother 25 on Thursday at 11:15. Okay, now that Big Brother is now back to 9 o'clock for Thursday night evictions. So Buddy Games at 8, BB25 at 9, and the Challenge USA at 10. And we'll see you 15 minutes after. And with that, Veto was played and won. And won by Cam. Damn.
Yeah.
Damn. And this is why a Corey in America might want to work with this man. Because he wins things. He actually wins.
Apparently everything. I have to tell you, Cameron, not my favorite person, but nobody has a story in here like Cameron. No. There are only 2 weeks of this whole game where Cameron was not either the HOH or nominated for eviction. Week 1, he was not on the block. He didn't win HOH, but he also was not on the block because the 4 people that lost their premier competitions, those 4 competitions they did, he wasn't one of the 4 losers. So they were the nominated people. And then other than that, the only other week where he wasn't either HOH or on the block was when he was a zombie and he won his way back in. Every other week of this game, of this season, he has either been the HOH or nominated for eviction.
Yeah.
He has not had a single week where he's just been like in the game, hanging out, got to vote. Have we even seen him cast a vote in this entire season? I don't think we have.
Once. When he pulled himself off.
He did win a veto, and pull himself off. Yeah, that's right. But every single week he's either been nominated for eviction or been HOH, which is honestly crazy.
I hadn't realized that until now. Listen, still not my favorite guy or anything, but he is playing a good game. I hate his DRs. I will say that. But I don't know. He certainly has a strong argument if he gets to the end. I think his only problem would be the bitter jury, like we've been talking about. I was surprised, though, that when he won this veto, that he didn't change noms.
Yeah, I was disappointed.
Well, it was so up in the air until literally right before the ceremony, because even as recently as yesterday, we were hearing that he wanted to backdoor Corey.
Yeah.
Right. And I don't know why did that fall apart? Do we know why?
All I know is this morning he was talking to, I don't remember who it was. He was in a conversation with somebody, and he was basically like, "No, I've decided I'm not going to change them. Like at the ceremony today, I'm just going to like keep the things the way it is. Like I'm not going to take the shot right now. Felicia's my target." But I don't know why, when he's like this whole time been talking about wanting to backdoor Corey, been making the plan with Jag, Matt, and Blue about like garnering the votes to get out Corey. Like I don't know what flipped.
And how disappointing too for our entire conversation before, talking about what the value would be in getting out either one of Corey or America.
Listen, Corey is my preseason winner pick. I do not want Corey to leave this game, but the smart move is to backdoor him and get him out now. Right now. This is the time to do it.
Yeah. What do you think about Liz's comments here? So Liz was saying that Cam's been fired up to, about the plan he had to shock Felicia at veto ceremony by using the veto on her and putting Corey up in her place. Matt and Blue were very much on board to vote Corey out. And Bowie said she'd be willing to join, but Jag fought tooth and nail to save Corey. He didn't want to piss off Jag, and apparently Jag was extremely against this. I don't understand that, though, because I thought the whole point of this, of Matt and Jag teaming up with Cameron, was so that Cameron could target Corey in America without Matt and Jag having to get that blood on their hands. So I don't understand why Jag was so...
And listen,
I don't know.
Jag was my preseason winner pick, but like, who cares what Jag... He was, yeah. Like, who cares what Jag thinks? Like, what influence does Jag have on anything? Like, why would that even be a thought? Like, oh, I don't want to piss off Jag. So what?
It's even like...
What's the blowback?
Because even I'm looking at this here. Cam can't turn on Jag. What does it say? Cam can't turn on Jag because the game would be shit. Like, yeah, sure. Cam has an alliance with Jag. That same alliance also has Matt and Blue, who were down to flip. So I don't know why only Jag is the person that...
Matt was on board. So what's the problem?
And apparently Bowie was on board also.
Right. So who cares what Jag thinks? Everyone else thought that this was good.
Yeah. So piss off Jag for one vote. You still have Matt, Blue, and Bowie on your side.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, who cares?
Right.
And then Jag's all alone.
Exactly. And if he carries on like this, people are going to be like, what is this? What is this about?
And even if, like, you're a lot, like, there are other people in the house outside of that alliance that gladly would have voted out Corey. Like, they see not the harm in keeping him, but like the danger in him being here that longer than this. Like, pre-jury is the time to get rid of him. I don't want to see it happen, but as a smart game move, you have to take him out.
Right. How disappointing.
Yeah. Like, I think that Cameron is understandably the target for pretty much everybody in the house if he's not in power. But if Cameron's in power, then everybody in the house their number one target should be breaking up Corey in America, I feel like. You know what I mean? Like, I don't see why Jag would have that issue, because he's already got a new alliance. He's got other people he can work with. Break up the showmance. We're going into jury. Like, we're getting down to the wire. Like, It's weird.
Crazy. Liz has some additional context here, saying that Jag, Matt, Corey, and America had talked about being a force, so Jag didn't want to lose a close ally. But why doesn't Matt care? Matt doesn't seem to care.
Well, and that I think is going to blow up if not already today, like in days to come, because once Corey sees like that other people were down to get rid of him that he thinks he's aligned with, like that's going to kind of blow up a little bit. Like once he sees that like Blue was down and Matt was down, he's going to be like, well, what the hell? Why didn't anybody tell me that this was the plan? Like warn me ahead of time that I might be in trouble. And B, why are we also down to let it happen? Why is Jag the only one that was kind of on my side?
Right.
I don't see though, like, I feel like that's very short-sighted by Jag. Like, his argument being that if Corey goes, that they'll be next. It's like, if Corey goes...
Was that his actual argument, though? Or was that just what he was trying to say to convince Cameron?
Well, Liz is saying his argument was that if Corey goes, they will be next. And I feel like...
Yes, but my point is, does he really believe that? Or is he just trying to
I have no idea. I'm just reading these comments. But I feel like if that's Jag's argument, I feel like it doesn't make any sense because it's like if Corey goes, Cam is still the next target. Even if this fugitive alliance, do you really believe in this fugitive alliance? All of a sudden, you have all your trust in Cam. Like Corey goes, so the next target is one of the fugitives, and it's Cam. Cam's already been evicted. Of course, he's a target. Like who cares? Like I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. I don't know either. Matt felt like if Corey goes this week, then everyone targets Cam, and then next week, everyone targets Cam next week when he can't play.
Well, of course, everybody targets Cam next week.
Right.
When you have to get him out sooner rather than later too, or else he's going to win out.
That leaves Jag him out with a lot less comp winning players.
But I feel like getting rid of Corey, getting rid of Cam makes Matt and Jag two of the top competitors in the house. We've seen Jag win multiple vetoes. We've seen Matt win multiple competitions. I feel like Matt and Jag move up as like some of the bigger comp threats in the house once you take out Corey and Cam. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like you're steamrolling a whole bunch of your own competition that you have to worry about later. Because if you take them out, who do you have left, right? You take Corey and Cam out of this house. You've got Matt, Jag, America, Nicole, Felicia, Sari. I feel, you know what I mean? Like Blue, I feel like Matt and Jag become the two top threats in the whole house where it's like they can't, who's going to take them out?
Well, I think that also speaks to this, like seeing this as a win for Jag because now he's got shields all around him. And maybe that was the whole point. Keep Corey in because now I'm a little bit better insulated.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because doesn't Jag only have one win?
I think he's got 2 wins.
Yeah.
I think he's won 2 vetoes. I could be totally wrong about that.
No, I think that's right. That sounds right.
Okay.
I don't know. I just feel like now you keep Corey in. We already see how comfortable Corey is with Cam. I don't know if Cam is even Corey's first target, to be honest. Corey might see value in keeping Cam around for a little bit. So he got right into Cam's bed and put on his sunglasses. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
So who do you think Corey puts up if he won HOH going into Thursday?
Maybe a Sari, something like that.
I'm still not sure that he would do that to Sari. At least not now. You think so?
I don't know. I mean, Sari and Jared were the ones that he was really going at in that big blow up in the have not room. And I could see Corey looking at that as a huge move, being like, I'm the one that took Sari out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's certainly possible. But if not her, let's just say for some reason she comes off. Like, I still don't know what Corey does in that situation. Is it Cam then?
I still feel like
Maybe.
Cam is on his radar.
Liz is saying he and Cam said they will put up Sari and Blue.
Yeah, Blue's the other interesting one here. I don't think Blue is aligned with anyone. As much as she thinks she is, I don't really think.
Well,
I don't think any of her alliances are valid.
I don't remember if it was this episode or the previous one where like it looks like they're gonna brigade her.
Yes,
our buddy Brett here. Our buddy Brett says if Corey takes out Cam, he's next. They need to call a truce. But Liz also comments here. Did you hear about the big fight today?
No,
there was apparently a big fight today. Did anybody hear about this?
No, I really worked until 6:30. I knew nothing.
Yeah, I've been kind of tuned out to feeds today.
Yeah, I just had to look around just to find out who won veto and what happened. That's all. I knew nothing going into tonight. Shameful. Really shameful.
Liz says, at the veto ceremony, Felicia lit Corey and America up in front of the whole house in her speech. And she is one of the 2 people that was in the bathroom when we found out that America was in the shower with Corey. So I wonder if Felicia is like trying to let people, and Jag was the other person too, and Jag apparently saved Corey this week. So
I guess that'll be interesting to see if that serves her at all. I mean, because she's still on the block with Mimi. So what does that do? How does that make Mimi the target now? That doesn't feel self-serving. How does that get people to not vote for you? Just sounds like now you're just causing problems, and now you're guaranteed to go. Because now you're just fighting with people, and you're not laying low like you're supposed to.
I mean, I can see it not even being like a game thing, just like, what do you mean you're not changing the nominations when these two blah 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 blah, you know, like just like out of anger.
It's an emotional outburst, not strategic at all, just mad as hell.
That's how I would imagine.
Yeah, that sounds
that would go down. Yeah,
that sounds serviceable. Absolutely. Yeah, yeah.
it's interesting too. Like Liz says here that Felicia said that America is riding Corey's coattails. I feel like I tend to agree, but like it's interesting because I feel like Corey didn't start to make a lot of his big moves in the last couple of weeks until America sort of talked to him and like pushed him into the direction of like targeting Jared, Sari, and all that. You know what I mean? Like I almost feel like Felicia is painting America as riding on Corey's coattails, but there is a way that you could look at it and say that like America's almost the puppet master. That
yeah,
like,
I mean, America's got really, really good reads, and even before it came to targeting Jared or whatever, like America was the reason why the Izzy flip happened. Because of her reads on the game. Corey might have executed it and garnered the votes and like done all the talking, but America was the one to clock it and have her reads on the game. She's really smart in terms of understanding the structure of the house and what's happening here.
Absolutely. Which is why, like, I don't know about that. I think she's almost the bigger threat. I feel like Corey acts a lot on America's thoughts and things. So while they're not an actual real romantic showmance, they're definitely playing the game as a pair.
yeah.
Yeah.
Huh. It's interesting. Very interesting.
Oh, it is. Oh, you. Stupid. I haven't got anything else.
I don't think I do either.
Yeah, I think that's it.
We're sufficiently satisfied.
I think I'm sufficiently satisfied. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So what do we have coming up? Thursday's 11:15, right? Because Big Brother was now pushed back to 9 o'clock. That looks like that's going to be our new slot. So we're going to be after the Challenge USA, 15 minutes after 11:15 Eastern. And then we have Mega Monwan Monday, right? Mega Monwan Monday. That's right. It's a big deal. Very, very big deal. We have 8:30. We are beginning our Survivor 45 recaps with our good friend Mikey Martman. He'll be back with us this season, every week. But this Monday we're starting that at 8:30. Challenge USA at 9:30. Big Brother 25 at 10:30. All right. So settle in. All right. Have dinner around 7. Get comfortable and get snacks and settle in for the night. Because we're in for the long haul. You can find us on the socials at Strat Pod, including Blue Sky, logo not pictured. Like, subscribe, share with a friend, and anything else for the benefit of the community.
That's all I got.
All right.
I'm excited for next week. Yeah.
Happy chatters.
And the rest of this week.
Thanks a lot. Thanks. Good. The rest of this week. Yeah. Don't forget us. Don't forget. We still have a lot of things to do here. Happy chatters in the Strat Chat house.